Alright, ebusian for mamda mu na masi emfambre ye channel yiso. Medo bibiasi ediba ye channel yiso. Na masel say notification button ehun hia me ye pa obetene ne on. Say the updates bebia onso nsa be den e be ka no ahwe. Na bibia aye kama. Say the news e mu hwam na ye de bra mu. E brentima nyibre. Yenkotie ensem kakra ekoso.
Which was in that so-called frivolous petition. Till that, Nana this sir release no or free the office of the president. But meant to me, I must say the parliament or provide any counter arguments against the points that the president raised. And for me, this is what I was expecting from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because especially when this is his second time of becoming president, this is not his first time. The first time I saw be a papano or inexperienced, he is still learning on the job. But this is someone who has learned on the job for the first time, and he is coming second time to redeem himself. And I keep saying that John Mahama Part 2 should be more about redemption. People tag him as Mr. Incompetent, you know. It's something that I would advise His Excellency to untag himself from that tag. But the was here with the judiciary here to just electoral commission here. One shot he might be getting a super incompetent tag rather than the incompetent tag.
I see.
It is Excellency on Shamiye for his own record. The last time of the president he will never get the opportunity after 2028 to redeem himself. And it's a now on my small boys and small girls be their beef against certain individuals omo yisuno as a conduit dia na ono so no sebi na we disappointing on. For me there, I have utmost respect for His Excellency the President, because once Ghanaians have voted for him, say only maybe Ghana so maybe I have to respect him. I have to respect his office. But the American Papa say in the midst of this respect, his legacy matters, because say en ofia kunyaswa no one will care about who was his chief of staff. No one will care about who was his press secretary. And another who talks about his chief of staff, who talks about his press secretary, who talks about his director of communications. But when you never can say some of the people who let Ronaldo down are some of the people I'm mentioning here with no fear or favor.
Oh yes.
So but say no one mentions any of these individuals I make on all that they talk about is Nanadu Yewe, Nanadu Ayewe, Nanadu Yewe, Nanadu Ayewe. No one will relay records to any of his appointees and Namo Musuntin and Nanadu and performing. In fact, young Kasa researcher, independent researcher, and the most current researcher, and near the way I'm disclosing a credit, Majuma from Fanchani, the 2024 general election was a referendum against Nanado's performance post 2020. Not Dr.
The second term,
the second term, so
in Ghana for 2 years.
Ghanaians didn't have any problem with Dr. Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia's only crime was he was part of Nanado's government. And since he is part of Nanado's government, let's say Nanado there, and he went to win 2 abam. It is not about the fact that Ghanaians don't know that Dr. Bawumia is competent.
Yeah.
In fact, say and I also opinion poll and I'm very new opinion poster to do this poll. Now also be a Ghana full free say ye can't you what media bet me turn this country around that. The majority of Ghanaians will say is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But why didn't they vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? And why did they vote for President John Dramani Mahama? Because of Nanado's government, his second term, 2021 to 2024. His performance, certain decisions that he took, that his own party people stood against him, and he couldn't get the party to support him. And again, of Otu Abeti and Anekufuado. And until close to about 2 million people are no more MP before, and I said they are pro MPP. Ekase Ometnefi Omonkotuaba. These are some of the things, sir. So we are mampini. That's a one shot when I'm 2 years. That's a would be amount for it. Yedom. And to Bakakusi. Now, His Excellency, the only any opportunity again. On to me, sir, maybe Musa or Sabe contest for a third time. I mean, Nyami Pompengu, I don't think it's something he would dream about it.
It's not. You need to do that.
A big crack can say, Chief Justice as a cry and also come home. Because or per se or clean if you not the favorite judge but send a bear obinya pansa constitution na wako and more than one.
Say constitution two ways. Either say obesi sanu through parliament
and also be through
and also obe for interpretation through the Supreme Court. It say based on at least two tests.
Yeah.
But when you say two tests, no I am fat because two tests no if more parliament almost ambition.
If that's parliament can approve no because Supreme Court for interpretation that's Supreme Court a bit me overturning parliament
it's your person onya a hold of people or pay our Supreme Court so the be or the deal because Supreme Court be agree
so to be a rubber stamp
no it's my
na I my best no person yes I know do so Ghana no my
of course Ghana but you see there me say economy me say there because the kind of board tape will be before election we share sir and lawyers conference of the NDC lawyers
me boy
you see there's a part it is an implementation of a promise of making here because utie sir we share lectures lawyers
some from
no akos voter region now the main asimo kan be because say I am encouraging you the lawyers know to look at careers on the bench so that we can balance out what the current situation is. We must be prepared as NDC legal persons to also go onto the bench so that we can balance the judiciary. The Nagimuno, if it's a judiciary mean balance. Also, NDC for
and so say Kufana appointed 80 to 100 judges with MPP and client people.
Also, CDECO. Nuna NDC for no NDC no
Ashanti won to me radio 95.9 movement television and was from Egusua which ha we betu na asemiya pe that process here koso Ghana ha ni say obi aye din akeka me dey minim so be di matem okay baby am come di matem and so NDC ba pa when some me come di matem nyina have been bailed out in fact ebedi can say when it comes to debt management under the Fourth Republic MPP has managed debt better than any other government in this Fourth Republic. In fact, another finance minister called parliament, he went to make the same statement that GDP growth and debt management MPP has managed it better. It means that MPP's performance is better compared to his own party NDC. Now I can in DR meet the press and we matter. Now we are trusting you know and I know we are certain and I know the true statement about the fact say oh yeah abai now the friend is a treasury bills instruments that's how we call it in economics but they are more different treasury bills to me it should treasury bills now one can say see who no and what from say the friend is inflation any monetary policy rate na mami French muka kambra so usha Bank of Ghana any ya say ya March 2025 and say another economic indicators on the monetary policy no na February May 27% and na Kufu adu jai another year no ya peje mu ko 28%. Okay hanche mo na ja saying Nana saying 27
every year
one year count
100 percentage points account man ko 28%. Na edie na etre ne etre ni say governor no ehwe peteta krema inflation ya dia sel na no wan hwa entumi mafom nti e wose ya tumi de nyomegu akwan so a ebema inflation ebebafo
okay
nti someone anytime aban bia monetary policy rate no obepejemu no de etre woni say bank ankra wo Ghana memi ha no baby a wonje wo sika free no the Central Bank of Ghana bank koni kase from BOG no won obi agi sika free in the same fancy bia wo kwa bia se bi GDC o come yan bank FNB akwakoje besia se sika na akwaje fiom no de bi omo di sika ni free Central Bank na so mo akwakoje se sika na Central Bank na se Bank of Ghana no edisi hu bi esi hu mo
okay
eno na protocol se me fan say the monetary policy rate nti MPP for kono na science hu no aye ohanche mu eduoso no 27%. Eduonunson. Ena de ya no NDC ababa no wabepege mu ko aduonu wotwe.
Ashase ko
na the extra one say first no na wo ko besia e wo bank ena na bosu bia anka wo twansi ho bia ebupe miensa ena mo sense ho na ya pege mama commercial bank ntino so ono akwa jinsi ho sika ensi ho no e kosora ono ntumi mfa me ma ensi ho a e wo fom e wo se otumi de man ya wo soro se na be onu so benya mfaso the first na nanka ensi ho ya ebupe miensa bosu bia we de foni keka na mitwa se bia be ko be enan se enan ekonum ana efa bibisa nti protocol say the cost of borrowing is going to go up. I don't think that BOG no yesa. The person or China said the friend say excess liquidity no. Ono he the pete takrima. Ono say Ghana economy no sika e wo mudodo. Sika wo dem robotum, sika wo Dr. Banu botum. Sana that is the perception anytime monetary policy no say pejama sana actually. And this say monetary policy no wo the cost ro there. And na say ni pe no say fa say e besia ba no mo bo no mu dia. Enam se abesia bo be ya dintu no wo muntu ko bo besia ni biem nti ebe masika dodo na wo economy ni no akofom na yen nyina nim se sika bebere wo economy ni mu na se yen nyina ya chesi the same goods and services holding all other factors cause say production has not been varied there na price will go up nti eno na the end of the day no this inflation cost nti that is one of the motive. Another motive nti ameka say eya nwase mo na me ba bewure. Another motive of increasing the policy rate no so say when you increase the policy rate now it also means say what is the care kwa to accounts man na say the investment is who be cost ro amount into no isa senka what is the kind of ebetna ho na wadu wo wanum no enam say is who cost ro into no what is the kind of akoto bank so what the yes also be indirectly no na the BOG through its instrument and mop up excess liquidity because the kind of kese man for to kuma komu be bia sem no say enam say is who cost ro into no omo de ba bank it would be to the kind of the bank bia so to be nyankodi afi na akodi kiusu ni ade that is the main purpose of monetary policy na da woro yan hwade insi wo ya semia ye kense se increase dia na o say insi wo anasa government instrument insi wo e wo ho no ekosoro eno na wanya eye finance minister ono so ono auction anasa sa T-bills anasa instruments ya ye pesa man from musika dewdum se na be enwo mu nsem mu ni na enkosi inflation ono so say interest rate insi wo de man no e 15%.
Na obetu 26.
In fact, at a point MPP crack on the say na the 56 day T-bill numpo na ya about this 26.7%. In fact, the enemy 3 days BOG nankasa through its open market operation on all auction 1.15 billion Ghana cedis no on all auction at 27%.
Now think of 40 and over 15%. Anything else was sending under subscription for the second time. Away about 1.5 billion.
Yeah, putogum shegum economics emukrumia. Every say adentina mekasa. To me kasa inflation your high teacher mu edue numiensa echiri pa baako 23.1%. Edie na echiro say kasa inflation 23.1% and they will assess this.
As the rate and switch and ma cost no.
Yes, your high teacher mu edue on the average. Your high teacher mu edue numiensa echiri pa baako. In this ene okoto ade bosumi we. Nasa ade no na 10 Ghana cedis. Bosumi baako na ensamra no. Na almost be 23 Ghana sorry 2 cities 30 pesos and another carbon out the tone and this obisa ordinisika area investment se enanonaka sikani to metal cement a bag baako edua na se meya investment e wo so money si ho a tama sa investment no enwo no na science wo na esi wo be ka misika ho no se cement bag no e ko 15 cedis met me the same sikano na be to the same cement
na nya bi crank ho a met me nya na me de beto cement no
because a bro no e cost no body nyina be be na at the time sana investment na we dey wa konya eye your friend is a finance minister was so on the economics no one tiase into onwabe created your friend is a false rate into shama example be the room so His Excellency John Dramani Mahama at the can say Ghana's economy has been criminally managed.
Yes.
Now
I'm going to describe Ghana as a crime scene.
Now November 4th, 2024. Now one your man penny.
And 2024
November 4th.
Now President Akufo-Addo.
T-bills auction. Government records marginal oversubscription. And then the criminally managed economy. Now listen. I say this comes as government last week mobilized 4.1 billion, surpassing the target of 4 billion. Nana Akufo-Addo nana economy yet criminally managed. Nana Akufo-Addo auction T-bills and it was oversubscribed. I didn't say that because Nana Akufo-Addo was paying the market rate. It is clear. I say all yields continue to rise, and this appears to have driven demand for the short-term debt instrument, which rates taken upward across all maturities as the main to our bill closed at 26.5.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, now inflation is in 23.5%. It is an Akufo-Addo interest of 26.5. It's a Ubenya and some inflation or hand to Mubiase and to put me and San and Ekaka. It would see 90 days and Namakuma and Yokuno Bakuna Moka. Because say everyone then remember akoso by 23.5%. Ubenya 26.5% abeka in the sa e buona akoso utifruma sila benya kakra owetire. That is what we call investment. It will because of this reason, let's come to Atufosina. Ono say there is absolute confidence in the market in because the confidence of market in media any buy issue instruments and people the person because economy papa.
O can say sika wo economy ni mo na you go don say sika so koka botum.
This is March 24th, 2025. For the first time this year, the government has fallen short of its treasury bill target. Data from the Bank of Ghana shows that government aimed to raise 6.14 billion short-term instruments. Like I said, the new friend economics issue that this is T-bill as in making, but received this totaling 33.32 billion. Representing a 45% under description. Does this show that there is confidence in the economy? There's no confidence in the economy. And then I will kind of day. 28 March, another. T-bills again undersubscribed for a second consecutive time by 1.5 billion. And also kind story now. A buy no say na all person already 5.6 billion. And so core market on 4.1 billion. So say amount for lose confidence in the Ghanaian economy. And the idea when say amount for the bear margin so a Ghana for and the ento T-bill T-bill na ya so no do na ya monane for na to
asem na no
e ho problem ni wono
asem me kan say Atufo-Addo a flyer ojina ho say green type you know you see and try to say whatever to social media say we reduce T-bill rate no Bank of Ghana governor ho from be can say so man manage T-bills rate ni here and the pressure message ni so and I think say Dr.
if we say one of the areas monthly on a monthly basis at least and I said by monthly forex auction of these things because over there say 6 billion asini amike no do na you woman ya manane for woman the America dollar pound sterling bag Ghana me ma ba to sa T-bill na am say T-bill ya turn wa Ghana hantino
me turn
cedis into e was say dollar no obe convert into cedis into a convert sa dollar no and pounds no call the reserve of the central bank and it goes to shore up our currency And it's a winner, yes, say, many panel so confidence and to say what kind article now. Or that catch now say. Analysts suggest that forces such as high inflation, market uncertainty, and investor for me, I don't think the issue is inflation. I don't think the issue is market uncertainty. Where the crux of the matter lies is investor preference for alternative assets. Maybe the year Juma will move. And yes, said you make dollar and a neighbor. And $1 is maybe 16 cities.
Yeah.
And I'm a day city. And I'm a day to bill. Neboa.
And Ukraine.
70 days in a swan. And see what would the mamino. It will not match up the depreciation. In the same one as $1 and echo 17 cities. Mr. San, Sikanim Pan, the best shame in a dollar 10.
Into your banner, sir.
Now, when Jimmy said your baby investment,
and one is so you sika.
Yes, Nigeria will feel so benya the equivalent of $1 the investment, and now so benya across one.
Now, what I say, back to dollars.
Yes.
Now we'll send back to dollars.
Well, yes, sir.
Now a depression so about $1 and you see this one.
Yes.
What say you see can?
I and yes, you see cannot see because on says most of them we roll on. In the Canadian business, no matter they are at all roll on. What's it that they are going to be? Oh, Jimmy Sicanin so yeah, no sense coming in dollars. Or the dollar can best show up was said Trianco. And Ruba and your governor no catch up Papa won't take economics as a pay. Oh yeah, dear. I banner would you bomb it tomorrow. And to Miss Low die.
That's what destroy everything.
Financial economics, I said. On one friend say, or one person will be 10 say interest rate and 15%. Of course. We won't pay over to me and they meant to be trying to want to be yes, sir. But the market forces will correct that error. Correction and they say, I have to say to look at me.
95.9%.
But economy no and one size a good Canada. It was Mammy found the tabu. So, Osha a depreciation of the city. So, the depreciation of the city. Uber who say, a year March in the city has depreciated about 8.2% against the pounds. 8%. Yes. 8.2, not 8%, Minia.
Wow.
So offer the criminally managed economy now or can one seminar. The year-on-year total depreciation of the city against the dollar about 17%. So offer any March in Kwa can one seminar. March in Kwa 5.3%. That is just the dollar against the city. So Oko Euro has the city has depreciated against the euro at almost 10%, 9.2%. Now one who dynamics may be able
me follow pan.
So and this a young year. Next month on month, we are having an average depreciation of about 8% a year. Next time I feel not see the